Hey there, this is Daryl Olson from the Jackson Fishing Team, and we're going to continue our journey on using this Flyman Fishing Faux Bucktail, fake Bucktail. It's kind of fun to work with. So we're going to tie up another fly with it. It's Thunder Creek. Thunder Creek flies are tied normally with a bucktail. It's got some flash in them, and they're pretty streamlined. You can paint eyes on there, but I'm not going to paint eyes on this one right now. I'm going to use some sticky eyes, or whatever you want to call them. So the one fly that we're going to do is actually a saltwater fly in here. So let's take a look at it. All right. Well, this here's what's called a Silverside minnow. We're going to tie this, and not using any real bucktail. It'll be using the faux, and I'll show you what one looks like, a smaller version, but this is actual bucktail, and so it looks pretty similar, doesn't it? Except this one here doesn't have any eyes on it, but we'll see what we can do, and we'll tie it up. Go ahead and remove it. And I'm going to be tying, since it's a saltwater fly, I'm going to use Mustad O'Shaughnessy hook. It's 2 extra heavy, XL long, and saltwater hook, looks like. It's got chrome anyway, chrome plated, and a size 2 on there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to debarb it, because I debarb all my hooks. It'd be kind of interesting to see how many of you out there debarb your hooks, or I'm not criticizing, it's just that it's what I like to do. I like to challenge myself, fighting the fish to bring them in. And on there, so let's get that in here. In that part, and I'm going to use some 210 denier in white. On there, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to start right back behind the eye. And we're only going to put on maybe just a little over 1/4 of an inch. Normally on a thunder strike, the hook is divided into fifths, and the head is like 1/5 on there. This is probably a little bit bigger, but I'm just going to try to measure that. And these hooks here, they're like 1 1/8 inches long, and I'm going to make sure I maybe at least somewhat get it started right here, so the thread is at the 1/4 inch mark. Kind of measure that. It might be easier if I would have just put it on a card, or maybe a different colored thread. And then I'm going to come up just a little bit here, and the first piece of material, I'm going to use four fibers of crystal flash in silver. It doesn't have to be exactly 4, if you got one over or whatever, that's all right. and somewhat even them up. I'm going to start on my side. And then I'm going to position on the far side. Try that again. On there. Next, I'm going to take some of that Faux Bucktail by Flyman Fishing in short truce. And I'm not going to take a lot, maybe just a little bit less, you know, a little bit less, not very much. I'm going to probably take a little bit more than that when I'm doing the other two colors. Trim that off. And I don't want all this fiber here. I'm just going to cut some off. And I'm trying to keep the fly within 3 inches. And I trim that off. And kind of lift it up a little bit just to make sure I'm keeping that on top of the hook. And try to make a ramp right here. On that part. And that's close enough. That looks good. And our next material, I'm going to use some Flashaboo, a couple strands of that, and black and silver, or black and clear barred. And I'm just going to take like 2 strands. And again, I'm going to try to even it up a little bit and then slide it over on my side. And that's good. That's just past the tips there. So now what I'm going to do is the top of the fly, I'm going to use some olive in there. And like I said, I'm probably going to take a little bit more than what I used on the short truce, somewhere like that. And make sure I'm pulling up to keep it on top of the hook. And I'm gonna trim that off. And I'm going to just wrap up to right behind the eye, and I might just take my thumb and try to spread this around the hook, because I want it to be like that. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take white for the belly. Right here, white. And what looks like the same amount. And we're gonna right there. And again, I'm gonna come up and pull up on it. And give it a little twist. And again, I'll take my scissors in there and trim this off. You got a little bit more there to do. And again, I'm going to wrap up right up behind the, and then back. And then we're going to want to try to separate our colors here. Don't have to be that exact, I don't think. I get a needle in there, maybe I can separate some of that green. I'm just gonna pull some of this back. I'm not getting it at all, but that's all right. Again, I'm going to kind of spread this a little bit. I'll say it doesn't quite fold over as nice as, but that's probably one reason right there. I'm not on the thread marks for the white. There we go. Yeah, that's better. I will say that the bucktail does look better, but got to get out there and try some of this new material, or newer material. It is cheaper than normal bucktail. I mean, it's only like maybe $8–10. $8 to $10 for a tail, where bucktail right now is probably close to 30–25 bucks. Yeah. Yeah, fix that. Don't know why it did that. I'm going to take a red marker and to give it some red gills under here. And I'm going to go ahead and coat this before I put the eyes on. Spread this around. And I'm using thin, so that way it'll maybe soak in that in those fibers a little bit, and then I'll put another coat on. And the eyes I'm going to use are adhesive eyes, 3/16 super pearl. They're flat. They're not as nice as the 3D eyes, but this would give it the attempt or the look that that just maybe I painted them on there, but maybe be a little shinier instead of subdued. Just put a drop on. Let's see if I can just kind of hold it in place. And there we have it. A Silversides Silverside minnow. And try that on some speckled trout this coming week, I think, here. I just kind of tried to get the white fibers to be on either side of that. All right. Hope you tie some of these up. You know, saltwater, they'll even be great for false albacore, bluefish. You know, maybe redfish might take them, but you know, never know, never know. But if you don't want to do them for saltwater, they're great, great flies for trout and bass, maybe brim, depending on the size that you're tying them in. Normally you're using a 4X or a 6XL. The hooks I used were 4XL, those mustads for these Thunder Creek flies. And if you don't want to try the bucktail or the Faux bucktail, go with real bucktail. You won't be disappointed. All right, I'm Daryl, and we will see you on the water.